Hello NBN, Shannon here from I Cook You Serve. We're doing our first online podcast today and we've got the lovely Kathy Newson from NewPerry Homes. So welcome Kathy.
Oh, bless. Welcome. Thank you very much. And Shannon and NBN, thanks for allowing me the opportunity to be the first little guinea pig on the podcast road. Hopefully this will be a nice chat conversation and I will come out of being less of a techie dinosaur. So let's enjoy the little journey ahead of us.
Yes, absolutely. The reason for the podcast was just an opportunity for everybody to get involved in the group so we can hear about each other's businesses. So let's dive straight in. Whenever I network with you, Kathy, the first thing that comes to mind is positive in property, staying positive in property. You've said it again and again. So where did that come from? Just expand on it, really.
Well, being positive has been a driving force in my life. And so I will attach it to whatever it is that I'm doing. Positive in property works on a 2Ps, PP sort of thing. And then as property is buildings and people and so on, the thing that helps us, again, a driving force for business is being positive, because as you're presented with your chances and your challenges, that thing leads through. With your chances, you go from joy, excitement, opportunity, and create more and so on. From challenges, your mind is already on, okay, this is as it is. What can we do next? What can we do to help? Where's the next step going to be? And so it's never that of a challenge or going to be, because the positive drive through enables.
Brilliant. Well, I think that's really helpful to know. But I think that's really interesting as well. Your mindset in business, or everybody's mindset in business, is so important to how we tackle our daily challenges, how we tackle our opportunities. And I think that's something really nice that people will know about you, that you are very open arms and positive when it comes to challenges and new opportunities. I think that's really interesting. So what networking groups are you a part of? Naturally, you're a part of NBN, but property-wise, what's available? Like, it's not something I know about. So yeah, let's.
Okay, so the two, because this is about giving back, but also being in that community as well. So the two that I'm expressly involved with, that I help with, there's an independent one called A Great Property Meet, based at Dunchurch Park Hotel in Rugby. So that's kind of a West Midlands focus around it. And then this one, the other one, which is PIN, Property Investors Network. So that is across the country. So on one side, I've got an independent, free thinking, this is a very original type of situation to do with property. And on the other side, I've got what I call more of a corporate structure, because it's set up across the country. You can attend with PIN. If you just Google PIN, Property Investor Network, you can just go to one up and down the country. So those events are evening based, set times in the month, and that's where you'll see me on kind of property duty, if you like, on that aspect of my life. So the things to do with non-property ones, what I wanted there was that all of us, and that's the evolution of how it became a sort of head on the beds thing, we all have to live somewhere with a roof, ideally. And therefore, well, what's it like for people that aren't in property? How can I connect up with them? Because everybody lives somewhere and puts their head on a bed somewhere. And so then I fell in love with, of course, the NBN and the individuality, the fact that we go to different venues, there's a lovely energy around it. And there's also the buzz that happens in business buzz in Northampton, and other ones that are similar and like it. I think there's all sorts of different business network meetings according to where you are and what your needs are. Important that everybody connects up with something to give as well as to get. Because being that lovely entrepreneur, solo person that's in your business as you are, it is, you do need that network of people to connect up with, one way or the other.
Absolutely. I think building your business community around you is so important, because it goes back to what you were saying about opportunities and challenges. It brings all of those in. You meet different people. Business is more likely to happen, but you have your support system. I know for myself that has been absolutely invaluable. And it is about educating people on your area of expertise. But yeah, the great thing about NBN is that we do support different local venues, and we travel around, not like Northampton, Northamptonshire. But I think it's brilliant that actually the networking meetings that you're involved with are so much wider than that. You really cover and you really give back to much a bigger field, really. So yeah, I think that's great. I think that's really
Yes, yeah, and that USB for it is the magic of it, really. The fact you don't quite know, oh, what's this venue going to be like, and then the mutual opportunity for the business themselves to showcase what they're about and what they do, as well as realise there can be some interlinks.
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, no, I think
good.
that's really interesting. Wonderful. So let's dive straight into your business a little bit deeper. So NewPerry Homes, heads on beds. I told you, didn't I? Short, medium, and long-term heads on beds. So give us a little bit more of that. So what makes a short-term, medium, and long-term head on bed?
Okay, then. So, as I've mentioned, we all have to sleep somewhere, and that means our head goes on a bed, on a pillow, and all that sort of thing. And when I looked at it, it was long term. So I'd take a house that ideally I like to repurpose it. So you could take some lovely old horrible building, the sort that you might see that's got boards on it or something, and just retransform it and let that whole place out. And then you've got a whole family typically living there. So that's a longer term head on a bed. They sign up that this is going to be their home for the next few years, and there's that long term head on a bed. Your medium term head on a bed, the sort of technical term for it is a HMO. So that's shared accommodation. So you've got again, I still take the same properties that have been neglected and then can be repurposed. And under the right levels and conditions, you put things that are shared in. So you'd have shared bathing facilities, shower rooms. You'd have shared communal areas like kitchens and lounges, and every room as you go in it has its own number on. So number 1, number 2, according to the different size rooms that have been transferred. So what you've got there typically, which is a medium term, is a young person that it tends to be, or somebody in a situation where they need somewhere. They're not looking at so much as it forever home, but what I need at the moment. An example of which could be youngsters that have left being home with mum and dad, or need somewhere else, and they will typically stay there. Some people stay there for years and make it their forever home, but your typical says is, this is my stepping stone place until I can go and get my own place and afford that more of a forever home. And then short term. So short term is, so we think of places at the moment like Airbnb and Booking.com, but my model of it is that it is shorter term, and my customers tend to be those who are on working contract, people on a short-term contract where they're working for a set number of months but need a base. So they will get fed up of a hotel, or the hotel will only be part of it. They want a home from home, somewhere that they can be during the week and then go home in the weekend and know that that place belongs to them. So those are the shorter term homes that I've got.
Wow, that is a full variety that you cater for there. Families, younger people. Do you get a lot of students? When you're saying about medium,
I get students inquiring. My houses aren't student focused, but I get students inquiring, and what I tend to do is say, well, who do I know that does students accommodation specifically, and pass that to them.
I think that's nice. I think that's nice. It's really nice that you support people that are working on the shorter term contracts, home from home. because that must surely help everything that they're doing, whether it's their work,
Absolutely.
whether it's their comfort. I think that that's really good, really interesting.
So an example that people relate to the mostly on that one, because these are in Luton and
Yes.
you've got the airport. So you've got the companies, the big companies will just advertise internationally for, we need a programmer, we need this skill set for 6 months. That's a big thing to be on the CV and they'll just come across globally, and they've got to sort themselves out. So that is what I consider to be, this is a solution that's needed for now. So
Yeah.
how can I help and facilitate with that?
Wow. So something we've previously discussed is
Mm.
the details that you get to and the really real feel of a room, and a
Mm-hmm.
feel of a property.
Right.
I found this absolutely fascinating when you went into it, and I kind of came out of it with such a new perspective of what you do and the real care that you put into your business. Like, it's clear that you're passionate about what you do, but the details and the feels that you want from your properties before you supply them out is
Mm.
something really interesting. So yeah, would you like to expand?
So even with the properties that I've come and I've got that are in what I call more humble situations, and they certainly are humble when you look at them. And I will particularly go, right, what's this going to be like for me? Female, it's 10:30. I've just come from being out. Am I feeling safe here? Will somebody that I know, relative, feel safe here? So I try to imagine what situations and do some things like park quite a way away to walk near to it to see what are these streets like, and then as I'm in it, what's going to work here, because when you want to come home from a place, my basic thing is I want to feel like, not I'm coming home. And that is a current thing of even things like a lamp in a particular place or some level. It's like, no, that's wrong. For a girly, that's not going to work. The mirror's got to be here, and so on, so that you get a visual,
Yes,
and we all like to live, because we've all got to work so hard for our pennies that by
absolutely.
the time you're coming home, you want it to be a place of calm, refuge, whatever it is, home. It has to have a positive connotation to it. So I
Yeah.
want to be the provider of that. Very satisfying.
I think that really nicely links back to what you said there about feeling positive at home, feeling safe, feeling relaxed. That,
Mm,
for me, perfectly ties back into you and staying positive in property. You
mm,
you do your properties, whether short, medium, or long term, are exactly what you say they are. They are staying positive in property. So not only is it just your way of business, but it's, as a person, it's the way you run your business and how your business
mm-hmm,
makes people feel. um,
mm.
and for me, I think that's fascinating. I love that there's those two elements that just combine completely and sum up what your business is.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. I just find it makes it easy and simple, I suppose. It
Yeah.
really, it's then the things that are biggies don't become too complicated and bogged down, because that's just a nice, simple premise to go from.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So what things do you have coming up?
So, well, I think I need to go a little bit of a step back, because I've talked about the PIN Property Investors Network. And as a result of helping last weekend, we were in London for a strategy implementation
Oh,
weekend. And as a result, people come from all of different parts of the country, if not the world, and put together where they want to be in property. And sometimes you think you know it, or I thought, and I was re-educated, reinvigorated, and I've got a wider network of property pals, if you like, in order to take forward new ways forward, or just re-look at what I knew already.
yeah.
So that's really good. So I'm going through a whole education to do with that at the moment, tagged alongside the business. So at the moment, also I'm looking at, so what situations come to me is, did I want to take on a few more of the shorter term accommodations?
Wow.
So somebody in where I am is saying, Kathy, I don't know if this is me anymore. And we were in a conference call this morning about it, fleshing out some of the details around it. So what else is coming up is my mortgage broker. He's looking to get into property now and has just come and spoken to me about different steps and approaches and so on, with a nice special deal that he's got lined up that he needs some help with. So that's nice, just being able to help out. But then there's, and this is what I mean about, again, being positive, so that you can, okay, here's a new situation. It might not be for a few weeks, even a couple of months, but you've got a kind of dotted line that becomes a stronger positive, that becomes a working thing in for it. So those are some immediates that are just there at the moment, that are phone calls or chats or catch-ups and so on.
Very nice. That sounds really good. So to end the podcast, how can people get in touch with you?
So good old Facebook, the good old, and it is, isn't it? Good old Facebook now, like on social media. I would have said, if you haven't got my number, so I'll just say it, 0737 831 8804, 0737 831 8804. So as I said, there's Facebook and there's LinkedIn and there's through the NBN if you so you know, I don't know, could you even Google me now? I don't know. So it's a case of however it is. Oh yeah, because you can also catch me on Messenger, couldn't you? So there's all those different active ways which I'm there, and go from there.
Well, thank you for being our first NBN podcast.
Thank you for having me here.
Pleasure to have you. It's been really interesting to find out more about your business, to discuss more, and I can't wait for the rest of NBN to learn more about your business. So, thank you very much, and
no problem.
I'll see you at the next meeting. Take care.
Yes, Shannon, certainly will. Thanks very much for this, and ta-ta!